talk self-care and why is it so important. Now, this isn't just for business owners, but certainly aimed particularly at business owners, because the tools I'm going to talk to you about today, anybody can potentially use when you are feeling overwhelmed, stressed, anxious, etc. So I am a firm believer that self-care is incredibly important, and it's something that is often overlooked, particularly by business owners, because we are literally always going 100 miles an hour. We have so much weight on our shoulders, and there's expectations from family, from from your customers, from your staff, and ultimately you are often spinning many plates. I often have a conversation with my parents about the fact that I am constantly spinning those plates, right? And ultimately, if you keep going and you keep going, you will ultimately end up reaching a point where you just literally you can't move on. And what I am starting to see is where basically business owners are going and going and going, reaching a point of burnout. And actually, that's when their business can really decline. And this is the thing, I admire business owners because it takes a heck of a lot of gumption to start a business in the first place. It takes a heck of a lot of ambition and drive and determination to make a business work. I know that because I'm on my second business, right? So it's incredibly, I'm genuinely I admire anybody who is prepared to actually start their own business, okay? But what often gets forgotten about is this whole concept of self-care. And ultimately, this is one of my favorite quotes: you cannot pour from an empty cup. And if you are at that point where you are pouring from an empty cup, you know what's going to happen. Mistakes are going to happen. And what's going to get impacted? The relationships that you've got, whether that's with friends and family, whether that's with your team, and your business is ultimately likely to suffer. And actually, sometimes it's better to take that step back and take a break away from your business, whether it's a day, whether it's a couple of days, whether it's a week, whatever it is. But actually just taking that step back will do more positive for your business than actually if you keep going at the rate that you are when you are at burnout stage, right? And I understand more than most in terms of about self-care. So I talk quite openly that during COVID, I had a complete and utter mental breakdown. And that's a large reason why I left the legal profession. And even when I was working, when I had the law firm, I would keep going and going. I would be doing 12 to 14 hour days consistently, working at weekends. I think my record was even working at one point till 4 o'clock in the morning. That was just before I was about to go on holiday. But even so, I ended up in hospital on 3 separate occasions because I did not look after myself. I literally just kept going and going, not necessarily always the best diet. I wasn't exercising. And ultimately, my body would then tell me, Sarah, enough, stop. And that's what will happen if you don't do the whole self-care. You'll reach that point where your body will turn around and say, enough is enough. And then you're potentially going to be out of your business for longer than if you actually just took some R&R. So, as I kind of have explained, at the moment, I'm going through some of my own challenges. So I wanted to share with you some really hot tips in terms of how you can improve your own self-care. So this morning I woke up and I have to say I was feeling quite low. I could feel anxiety in my stomach. I felt quite fragile. I felt quite vulnerable. And People will often see me and think that I'm a very strong character. And yes, I do have this inner strength, but I'm also still human. I'm not superhuman. I am still human. So here are the things that I did. And I just literally took a couple of hours this morning out of my day and to do these particular things. And it has made, I can't even tell you what difference it's made. My brain this morning after doing these exercises has been inspired. I've got so many new ideas. I'm going to make some changes as a result, all because I did these particular steps, and literally, like, my mindset has just shifted from feeling that anxiety to feeling like I am on fire, right? In a positive way, of course, right? So here are the things that I would recommend. Number one, exercise. Working out is paramount to both your physical and your mental health. Now, I appreciate that sometimes you don't necessarily have the time to get to the gym. I just do often a workout from YouTube. Stand in my lounge and I'll do my workout. Often it's only for about 15 minutes, but that 15 minutes can make a difference, night and day difference to how my day then goes, because of just literally getting those endorphins moving. And this morning I did my YouTube video, and I then went on my punching bag. And I'll tell you what, even just punching something just can get so much anxiety out. So that's number one, is doing a workout. Second is doing journaling. Journaling is such an important part. So for example, I most days will set my intentions for the day. I will write a gratitude list. So I'll write 10 things that I am grateful for. And then I do my affirmations. And I have 3 types of affirmations: one that relates to money, one that relates to business, and one that relates to relationships, right? And they're very personal to me. So, I do the affirmations, and then I also have additional affirmations where it's just purely about my characteristics. So I would say things like, I am grateful, I am loved, I am blessed, I am caring, I am smart, I am determined, I am driven, I am healthy, I am open to receiving. All of these types of affirmations, and I write them down in my journal, and I end with the phrase, I am free, I am me. And actually that quote came from a Robbie Williams track called Love My Life, Love Your Life, something like that. And it's a brilliant, brilliant song, and it has some amazing affirmations in the chorus. So I highly recommend that. The next thing that I did was I sat and I meditated. And during the meditation, so Gabby Bernstein has written an amazing book called The Super Attractor. And when I have been reading in her book, there is a particular meditation that she does. And this may, for some business owners, sound a bit woo-woo, but there is this meditation about where you can listen to what she refers to as your spiritual guides. So there, whether you believe in religion, whether you're Christian, whether you believe in God, whether you believe in the universe, whether you believe in life after death, whatever your belief system is, effectively that there are spiritual guides that will guide you. And this meditation, what you're doing is you're literally breathing in for 4 seconds, holding your breath for 4 seconds, breathing out. And you keep doing that breath system for a good few minutes. And then there is a phrase that you effectively write in your journal, which is something along the lines of thanking your spiritual guide for peace and compassion and showing you the right way to go. Now, I did it slightly differently, where I actually said like a prayer to, again, like I say, whether you believe in God, this is just my way of kind of helping clear my mind. And genuinely, the power of this is literally mind-blowing, okay? So I say my prayer in terms of the things that I need guidance on. And I then carry on doing meditation, doing the breathing. Breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, breathing out for a couple more minutes. And then I write in my journal, and I just literally write the thoughts that come into my head. And genuinely, these thoughts are so incredibly powerful, because effectively is your spirit guide actually guiding you, reassuring you. But even after, so what I also did, and this again may also sound a little bit woo-woo to some people, but for me personally, I felt like this was a good thing, and I basically just burned an incense stick, which just cleared the energy around me, because I was feeling the negative energy and I wanted to bring positive energy. And you'd think, as a business coach, you're thinking, Sarah, this is very woo-woo kind of stuff. And honestly, the shift that I have felt as a result of doing this, and I jumped in the shower after I did all of this, and my brain has literally been on fire with inspired ideas as a result. You know, all about my business, deciding in terms of, so for example, I've got an event that I'm running in September. So save the date, the 13th of September, to all of you guys. And at this event, I was originally going to do a face-to-face event. And actually, as part of my inspired ideas, I've decided to switch it to a virtual event. And I was thinking about, and watch this space, because as a result of these inspired ideas, there are going to be more things that are going to be coming out in your, being launched imminently as a result of this inspiration, right? I am so excited. And I cannot tell you the difference that I feel in myself from doing these exercises. Now, you might not necessarily want to do all of them, but I can tell you the power that this has had in terms of shifting. And, I know that now the rest of my day is going to be completely different compared to had I stayed in that mindset at the very beginning of the day, where I felt anxious, where I was feeling overwhelmed. My productivity today would have been probably not quite non-existent, but certainly wouldn't have been at the level it needed to be. But as a result of doing these exercises, I feel completely alive. I feel completely different. My mindset has literally shifted from negativity to positivity. Now, mindset coaching is something that I think is a really important part for business owners. And I am a firm believer that success is 80% mindset, 20% hard work. Because if you have your mindset on point, you will be able to deal with any challenges that come your direction. But in terms of keeping your mindset on point, you need to make sure that you do the self-care. Now, self-care may mean different things to different people. It might be simply going on holiday for a week with your family and you're just literally lying by the pool. And often what happens, and I've had this, is where you sort of take a few days to kind of come down from kind of you're constantly being 100 miles an hour. You have a few days where you chill, and then your mind goes back in overdrive again. But that R&R is so important to be able to get those inspired ideas again. So make sure that you listen to your body. Don't push through every time. Make sure you listen and you stop, because your body will force you to eventually. And trust me, your business will end up actually, excuse the noise in the background, your body will force you to, and for a much longer period of time. So I really hope that you have had some really great insights from today's share. I'd love to hear your comments, what you do for your own self-care. So make sure you put your comments in. I would love to hear more from you. So thanks, guys, for listening, and look out for the announcements that will be coming very soon from the Inspired Ideas.